Yeah, I believe I don't believe in lucky sevens. I'm not sure about Loch Ness, but I know I believe in angels. I believe in happiness.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. Yes, we all believe happiness, especially on this show. I love having guests on that have an inspiring message, that are creators, and they have such a giving spirit to humanity. That's what this is all about. So no matter if they're actor, if they're well-known in Hollywood, which we have a lot of those folks on the show, they're musicians, they're doctors, they're coaches, they're people that you will meet everywhere in life. And I just love the interactions that we have. If you're ever interested in learning more about the show, you have someone that you want to see come onto the show, please let me know. Send us an email at ECOOPER studios@gmail.com. I was about to give you my login to my computer. That's what was happening right there. So it is ecooperstudios@gmail.com. Now, first, before I talk about the wonderful, beautiful, lovely Denise Wester, which is connected with us today, she is, that's my dog. She is a profound author. She has a wonderful tool that is going to help you in your life. Are you somebody that, I don't know, errs on the side of procrastination? You have to stay connected for this show. But first, I'd like to give a shout out to the sponsor today, which is None. And None, which their website is None Life. So let me bring up their website so that you know you can scratch it down on a piece of paper. Don't go anywhere. But after the show, you can take a look. It is NUUNLIFE.com. And so they have water additive products. This one is an energy water tablet. And, it's not going to give it the sparkling water flavor because it's not sparkling, obviously. It's just a flavor. But yeah, the reason why I brought up sparkling water is because you remember Perrier when it was just straight Perrier, and then all these great sparkling flavored waters came out. That's what their flavoring tastes like. They're light and refreshing. This one in my hand is blackberry citrus, and it is exactly that. It's like gourmet water in a tube that you can put into your purse, in your backpack, in your gym bag. And it's a really great product. Not all of them are energized, such as this one, but they do all offer a wonderful balance of electrolytes. This kit is fairly new to the None Life world. This is instant hydration, and it's a dummy-proof kit, which is wonderful for someone like me, not because I'm calling myself a dummy, but because I'm constantly on the go. And this makes it so easy to make sure that you have all the electrolytes that you need through your workout, through your day, chasing the kids, driving here and there, because, if you have kids that are still at home, you're also a taxi driver, unless they're privileged enough to be a decent driver and have a car, and then they can ease up some of that routine. But None Life, jumpstart your day with None Energy, a crafted blend designed to deliver a lift that lasts. So 80 milligrams of caffeine per serving in just one of these little tablets. I'm going to show you just how big they are. So 80 milligrams right here. That's a whole cup of coffee, but there's only 10 calories and 3 grams of carbs. So it's low in sugar. The energy products are going to definitely give you a full cup of coffee boost, so make sure that you only use one at a time. Their flavors are Berry Blast, Ginger Lime Zing, Tropical Punch, Watermelon Burst, and many, many more. It also has 20 milligrams of ginseng, vitamins B12 and B6. Caffeine is sourced from green tea, so it's not going to taste like coffee whatsoever. It's a really nice, smooth green tea caffeinated product, and you don't taste the tea either. It's such great flavors. I just could go on and on about that. So go over to nunlife.com. You can get 20% off today. However, and it's really exciting, you can now find them not only at nunlife.com and Amazon, which I've promoted for the past couple of years because they've been with me for a while, Walmart, Publix, Kroger, Walgreens, and many more. I believe you can go onto their website and search locations near you. So go try that product. I highly recommend it. It is always sitting on my desk here at the top. Now, I would love to talk to you just for a moment about the lady of the hour. So Denise Wester, she is the creator of Busting Through, methods to get courageous, take action, get unstuck, and find your personal power. Busting Through is a journaling workbook. I love that. There are so many books where it's just text on paper, which is totally necessary. But this one actually makes you pick up pencil and put it to paper as you're reading along. It's a workbook. I love that theory, and I want to talk to her about that more. So this workbook will help you gain clarity and the courage to take action towards transforming your life. Busting Through will assist you in discovering and overcoming the old stories and negative thoughts that are bogging you down and holding you back from achieving your goals. And that is straight off of denisewester.com. And without any further ado, I'd love to welcome to the broadcast Miss Denise Wester. How are you?
Hi, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon. Where are you broadcasting from this morning?
Oh, I'm in the Pacific Northwest in Washington State.
Good morning to you. Absolutely. How has your morning been going?
Fantastic. It's a beautiful day. It's not raining.
Oh, that's great. That is really, really great. Now, you have an interesting, man, I want to call it a product over a book, really, but Busting Through the Journaling Workbook. Can you take me way back before that began? What is your backstory as far as where you have become today? Where did it all start?
Well, yes, thank you. I came about Busting Through because the methods that I've used in my life to get me through several pivotal moments. I was raised in a very restrictive religion, then got married and finally left that religion, found myself divorced, bankrupt, and a single welfare mom with 4 children. And then later getting a great job and finding myself in a severe car accident that took me several years of rehabilitation. So all these pivots and life events, plus multiple job layoffs that a lot of people have experienced too in the last couple of years, just gave me the tools to get through these. And I decided one day, just got inspired to write all this down and put this together in the book, the things that given me clarity, given me ability to get unstuck and find happiness and my passion and purpose for life.
Did you begin speaking first, or did you begin curating the book first?
The book. Yes.
Interesting. Now, do you speak currently?
Just doing podcasts right now.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about the book first. So Busting Through. I mean, that sounds like a wonderful plan. It sounds like everybody's going to listen to this and go, oh my gosh, I need that. Tell us more about it. What is within it? I'm actually going to share my screen to Amazon because it is available on Amazon, but you're able to click in and see some of the table of contents. So can you take us through what we can receive through this workbook?
Great. Yes. Well, the reason I wanted it to be a journaling workbook is because journaling was my first thing that got me through so many of these pivots was journaling. I find journaling so important to give you clarity. And if you're one of those people that's like, I don't journal, then there's something out there inside you that you really need to get that story out of you and on a piece of paper so you can gain some clarity and move forward. And so that's why I knew I wanted it to be a journaling. And then a workbook came about in that you have to have the prompts to help you get to some of the questions, asking you the questions to get through the answers, because questions is what gives you clarity. The questions is what goes through those subconscious whole things that are holding you back. We all have these stories. We all have these things that are planted in us from our childhood that are back in there and are affecting our life today. And I wanted to ask questions at the end of each chapter to start getting you thinking and getting through those buried stories and getting them out on paper so you can deal with them. And I just find that very, very powerful. And that's why I became a life coach, because I really wanted to help people dive deep and try and find their personal power.
Are you willing to share with us some of what you were able to unpack that was holding you back?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, first off, like I talked about in being a restrictive religion, that is the same as anything that maybe you've experienced in life too. I just don't want people to think, oh, it's religion. That doesn't affect me, or that doesn't pertain to me. Well, just think about if you've had a narcissist in your life, or you've had a relationship that is very controlling, or a boss, or a friend, or a family member, somebody that's controlling you. And that was the way the restrictive religion was. I had no you had no belief of your own. You had no feeling for myself or my own. I felt judged constantly. You're never doing it right. You're never doing enough. And you're always felt like you're not going to be able to survive without us. And so those things, getting through that, I left and I just got this divine realization this never felt right. It never believed any of it. I always struggled so hard with it being a child. And then finally, as an adult, I just okay, I can leave. I can leave this. I can make a personal choice to leave this. I'm an adult. I'm not under the wing of my family and my parents, my mother, making me do this. And so that was powerfully hard, so hard. But the hardest part was that decision. And after that, it was coming to the realization it's like, I can choose for myself now. What do I believe? What do I feel? What do I want to do with my life now? And so that's where the journaling really came in strong for me, because I just needed to just find out, what did Denise want from life, instead of being told what my life was going to be.
I've noticed, I think ego runs really strong in life right now, in my opinion. And coming into contact with someone that wants to exercise that and control someone and fall into the narcissistic patterns within controlling someone.
Mm-hmm.
When you come away from that, how do you shower your soul and say, that wasn't about me? I am good enough.
Right. That's a journey. Very good question, because that is such a journey. And that is what I went through first, was finding what is that who are you? What do you want? And then coming to the terms of, finding your identity. And then you start going through, it's like, okay, this person was just shoving their ego on you, their insecurities, their control on you, because they had their issues that were going through. It was about them picking, I had a husband that was very controlling too, my ex, and, every single day I couldn't leave the house without him checking my hair, checking my outfit. After I had a child, I was always fat, I'm going to leave you if you don't lose this weight, and it was just constantly picking at you and picking at me and picking at me. And I realized later, after living in that and getting away from it, that was all about himself. Mm-hmm. That was just all about himself. And so that is kind of the journey you have to take in setting new boundaries and learning and identifying that when people are trying to control you, when people are trying to put you down, that is their fear. And so you have to start setting those, identifying them and setting those boundaries of saying yes to yourself and no to other people that are making you feel that way. So first, you just have to be honest with yourself. And the only way to do that is to start knowing yourself and loving yourself.
I think that is hugely key to breaking so many cycles, is to just become authentic with yourself. Mm-hmm. There's one level of being truthful and authentic with others. but to be authentic with ourselves. It seems like there are so many adults, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and they have never stopped to do that. They've never stopped to become complete in that way. So why would you assume that any of the relationships are going to work? When you're coaching someone else through life coaching, where are they in that moment of, are they at the deepest they could possibly be, or are they totally exhausted and they're coming to you? Or where do you find them that they are at in their life by the time they find you?
Yeah, many people are in different phases of that. That's excellent observation, because there's some people that still are just so deep into their past with parents that, were having issues. And so many of us in like my generation, the parents, were just, they didn't have the tools that we do now. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have all these, talk shows. They weren't honest about their problems. So they buried it deeper and usually took it out on the children. And that can go on still today with this people with their insecurities. And you get different levels of it. And what's really important is just identifying it, for seeing things for what they are, seeing that you have, there's no rule book for being a parent, and some people had more shittier parents than others and shittier lives, and it's don't feel like it, take it personal. So many times it's like, the why me, and how come they did this to me, they didn't love me, that sort of thing. We got to come to terms with all that, because so much of what we're dealing with and how we're reacting and how we're in this PTSD is because of something that happened that we might not even remember what happened from our 0 to 7 years old, and so, my parents got divorced when I was 7, 8 years old. And I always realize when I go back to my younger self in meditations that I go back to that age and try and comfort that Denise. And so I think we really, really, really need to identify, and it's okay. I think, oh, that happened in my childhood. That I put that behind me. Well, have you really put that behind you, or you're just trying to say that because you don't want to deal with it? You don't want to peel away that onion. And so that is, everybody's in different phases of that. They recognize, that they got, in my case, I had, the religion. I recognized that this religion still had control of me, and I dealt with it, but things can still come up as then you dealt with them. I found my personal power. When I was writing this book, I got it all written, and then I look at it and I'm going, I can't publish this. I can't put this out, because I had that religion. It's like, you don't talk about this. You don't talk about this against the religion. And I had to stop myself, and I'm going, wait a minute. Do I care what they think? No. Do I care what my family thinks is in there? No. And so it's like, that was such a realization that they still had mind games on me. So, but that was like an instant. I was an instantaneous situation. It didn't bog me down for more than a moment. And that was because I put these tools in place to recognize that.
Wow, that's really very powerful. And you've said so many things there. I do have some questions, but I do have a viewer, and I definitely want to get to the viewer's question for just a moment. Cyrus is watching. He's saying, discovering self-worth is a tough road to travel. Is it best to remove toxic people from your life first?
Well, ask yourself that. Is the toxic people, I find, influencing you so much that you can't get to discover yourself? So be honest with you on that. And I think right now, I did that, when COVID's hit and we're all home, and I had the news going and, the apps going and all this stuff going on social media. I was just soaking up, and I realized that it was just permeating my soul, and I couldn't bury out my day from it, as a lot of people found themselves, because this was a new thing. I stopped watching the news. I deleted any person that was on social media that was spreading anything that wasn't positive. And it just lifted my soul. So I think that's a great question you asked, Cyrus, because I think if they're bogging you down and you're bogging your day down and you're in your spirit down, get rid of them. get them out of your life in a kind way. If it's somebody that's in your daily life, a friend, that is just maybe just so putting you down or trying to take care of you, or trying to fix you, that can make you just feel like you're not worthy. Get rid of them, but you can do it in a loving way and just slowly to start disengaging, not being engaging, and just or being honest with them. It's like, I really need to take a coffee break from this, and just work on myself. And that's what I'm doing right now, and I hope you support that. And so first thing you need to do, I think, is a great question, is to try and detox around you. And then you can start saying, well, what do I want to do? What do I do with my life every day? Something I can do every day. What can I do that nourishes your soul? For me, meditation is, and my bike rides are. I heard like Elon Musk says his showers are as nourishes his soul every day. Some people it's prayer. Some people it's walks. Sometimes it's just sit in a corner, reading a good book for 3 minutes, or like I love meditation too, just closing my eyes for a few minutes and just breathing. So find out what nourishes your soul, and let that be a starting point.
I love what you said about it. Somebody trying to fix you. That
Mm-hmm.
has to be a very common topic between a husband and a wife that, let's say, they've been married for 4 or 5 years, and well, he's just not changing. Like, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get the playbook. How do I fix him?
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any married couples come to you with similar misconceptions?
Oh yeah, and I've done that myself. It's like when I'm a person that I'm very, very structured and very, very strong in recognizing things and being diligent about turning things around and doing it. And so I'm thinking, okay, I got all this willpower. I'm going to help you. I'm going to give it to you. I want to give it to you. So that was a journey for myself that I had to learn that, you can only fix yourself. So that is your number one thing. If you catch yourself trying to fix your children, control their lives, your friends, and your spouse, stop immediately, because all you're doing is making them feel worse. And all you can do is fix your own life. So always, 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 if you catch yourself doing that, and I'm a fixer. I have to focus on myself. So that is where my journey has been. And I think it's so important, because then you can be an example. You got to look at then, oh, okay, I have to be an example of, I've went through this. I recognize this. I took the course. I took action, and this is my results, and I'm feeling amazing and powerful. So you just have to be your own story, write your own story, and just find your own joy. And if that person is in your life, your spouse or something, is being a person that's toxic, that's a whole different thing. If it's abusive or toxic, then that is where you have to start taking care of yourself and fixing yourself and saying yes to yourself and recognizing that.
Right, right. You said something just a moment ago about how, people will say, oh, this happened in the past, but it's behind me.
Mm-hmm.
I always hear that. And it's only until recently where I truly unpacked my own stuff. And I love that vision behind the words unpack. You're
Mm-hmm.
putting it out into your active, let's say, closet. Let's still pretend that it's luggage. You're opening it, you're unpacking it, and you're hanging up. All of the painful items, all of the why me, how come, you resolve it within yourself, but it still has to hang in your closet, in my opinion. What is your perception and reality as far as, should it be in front of you, in your frontal vision, or behind you?
Well, it should be something that you recognize. So it's behind you in that you've dealt with what has come up that you know about. And that is why journaling is so important, in just having your daily routine of it. Because sometimes, like I just said, when I wrote, I dealt with the religion. But then when I did this book a couple of years ago, I started writing it, and oh my God, it was still controlling me, and I had no idea. So it was something that came up then. And then the same with, so it can be all of a sudden in front of you. But if you've dealt with a lot of the part of it, then it may be something that is new. It's like I have an exercise in my book. I call it the wall exercise, where you get rid of the old stories with an exercise that has multiple steps. But then I talk about, if you haven't, this story comes up again, maybe a year later, something about this story, but it has a different meaning to it. Maybe you have, an ex-husband or a friend or a story that you dealt with, or abuse, and you haven't thought about it for years because you dealt with it. But then all of a sudden you catch yourself having a reflex of that story again, or a dream or a reaction. And it's like, okay, what is new about that feeling? Why is this coming up right now? Is there something going on in my life right now that's triggering this? So it's really important to recognize it and unpack and see it with the new eyes, because you've gained wisdom in the last couple of years. You have some new eyes on it. So that's why it's good to journal, talk about it. Maybe if it's really something deep, you need to see a counselor, go see a counselor again about it, because you have some new experiences in your life that can be releasing that story and bringing new eyes to it, and bringing an unfolding that can help you keep going forward. And you got to congratulate yourself if you have dealt with something. Say, yeah, I dealt with that. Yes, and this is something, a little new nuance to it that I see that I really want to work through. And congratulate yourself on seeing that.
That is truly the first step. I would think the first step to being able to get yourself to a place of understanding, recognizing, and continuing to build on yourself, and continuing to shed that toxicity, as Cyrus was mentioning. So I have pulled up the table of contents to busting through. Would you mind taking us through the table of contents? I'm going to show it just solo screen. So go ahead. Everybody can hear you.
Yes. Well, I first start out with my introduction, kind of telling a little bit about myself and how I came up with these methods. And this book is really an easy read. And I wanted it to be easy, and I wanted it to be all about, I called it the guidebook, because a guidebook, because I wanted it to be about you busting through your stories and your hurdles and that sort of thing. So I didn't want it to be so mind-blowing about me, but I do have a little bit of each story for each chapter behind it and how I came about it. So the first, after my introduction, is about thoughts and beliefs. So I just kind of wanted people to learn a little bit about the subconscious, how it's just guiding us so much back there, hidden, this little evil genius back there controlling our days and our decisions. And so I did a little bit about thoughts and beliefs, and this is where I start getting you into your journaling prompts to dive in and find out those stories. And then after thoughts and beliefs is about the stories, finding those stories, stop and to start journaling those stories, and then getting through them with that wall exercise. And then meditation is such an important part of my life, and a method that I have really, like I said, feeds my soul every single day. And I find it so beneficial, especially in this day and age where we're so busy, we're so inundated around us, to help give us a few minutes just to sit with yourself, and to have some quiet time. And there's no meditation police, saying you're doing it wrong. So just start.
Quiet time is scary. To a lot of people, turning off the TV, taking out the earbuds or headphones or whatever you have, shutting off the music. Quiet can be scary. I was actually speaking to someone who I'm related to, and I said, I think maybe some deep breathing and quiet every day may help you handle the stress, because this person handles a lot on his shoulders on a daily basis. And he's like, oh no, I can't do that. I don't know what those voices are going to tell me.
Well, sometimes they give you great inspiration. I utilized the tool so much when I was writing. It just kind of helped me quiet my mind. I have such a monkey mind. It's just going, 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 going. And it helped quiet my mind enough to get some clarity and some creativity going. And I recommend, you can get a free app. I use the Insight Timer app. No affiliation with it at all. It's just, there's lots of apps out there. People can go, there's people you can get, sign up for daily affirmations, or you can sign up for daily meditations to be sent to you. And I use it. And there's just short little ones too that are guided that can really help you keep you on track to learn how to meditate in just 3 minutes. Like I say in my book, start with 3 minutes. You don't have to sit there and sit anywhere you want, be anywhere you want. Whatever is going to put you in your happy place in a relaxing compartment for those few minutes, and just take that time. And I find it really beneficial. I do it every morning and I do it every evening at bed. And I find it really beneficial for people who have a hard time sleeping. I used to have a really hard time sleeping, and I find that meditation is just a way to just shift into that sleep mode for me later on when I'm ready to go to bed.
I really love that, because so many people, I've started meditating and it's kind of been on and off. We actually had a class, and I can't remember which class it was, if it was high school or middle school, but they taught us how to meditate. And I thought, oh, this is cool. It's kind of groovy. And then, so I'm like, okay, I kind of have a tool in my hand. Don't really know a whole lot about it, because we just did it one day, just once. Teacher guided us through before internet. So I've picked it up again, and I realized, and it was really just a few weeks ago, I did it again. And I've been doing it each day, where I thought, gosh, something's off. I'm not someone that ever feels low or anything that could be, even classified as depressed, but I'm kind of feeling like my energy is low. My focus is off. Something's off. And so I was thinking, well, maybe I have a headache coming on. Maybe I should take some time. No. Let me meditate. And I'll tell you what, in 10 minutes, I was refreshed. I was awake. I'm like, okay, I can see my day. And I usually look for the next day ahead, right? I can see what's in front of me. This is so powerful. And I love what you're saying about 3-minute meditations, because I think a lot of people think, oh man, I don't have time to do that. I don't have 20 minutes 3 times a day. I don't have this. I don't have 3 minutes. I mean, it takes us longer to make a cup of coffee for most of us.
Exactly. Don't think you need to sit down for an hour or 30 minutes, 20 minutes. I mean, you can grow into that. I have done, those, and it's when you have the time. But sometimes just that little recharge in the morning, I look forward to it so much. I do it before I leave off to work, and it just kind of sets my tone for the day. And like I said, there's guided ones to help you. And I just sometimes scroll through, and it's like something just clicks on me. I just kind of let go for some daily inspiration. It's like, I think I need this today, so, and it's a great way too, I find, if you've been around some people that are toxic, to just stop and just kind of go into a meditation, find yourself again, and just shed all that. It kind of ground yourself again is a great way. If you have a job that's stressful or a job that's toxic, I mentioned in my book, if you are on the job and you have a very stressful, toxic job, just going out to your car or doing a little meditation to just regroup can be powerful, can be very powerful.
Well, I would love to talk about your website, but I do have a question first. And I noticed you have a one sheet of different topics that you do frequently talk about. And one is pivoting from being laid off 4 times. We are in a very interesting time where there are a lot of jobs open. Candidates are everywhere. There are some people that are going through it at the moment. Take us through pivoting from being laid off 4 times.
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. I wanted to talk about that because I just realized, I was laid off from the beginning of 2020. I was in the sales and the food service industry. So, we all know that tanked. But when my first job layoff, I was doing escrows and I loved it. I was passionate about it. I was training to be a licensed LPO, and then there was a recession. And I thought, well, okay, I'm just going to use this time to study at work and, get ready for my license. I got brought into the office and I'm sorry, we're letting you go. I was devastated. I had my whole career planned out with this company. I thought this is where I'm going. I was devastated. I cleaned out my desk. I was crying. I cried on the parking lot out to my car. I cried the whole way home. It was actually my birthday too. And I get home and I'm crying. My husband comes home and I'm crying because what's going on? I was just devastated. That just kind of rocked my world. And it was interesting in that then, I found a new job. It was better and it was exciting. It was challenging and different. I still did escrows, but I did it for an attorney. And it was amazing. And so then it's like, okay, this is cool. Then I got laid off from that. And then it didn't shatter me because it's like, okay, I learned something new. I had a new experience. I made more money. I shifted myself. And so then I got laid when I got into the food service business. I worked for a company for 18 years and they had headcount reduction and I was it that year. And I wasn't devastated at all. I just started immediately on my drive home. I started reaching out to all my contacts. Hey, I'm on the market looking for a new job. Hey, what happened is I changed my thinking from this being devastating into this is a new opportunity to grow. I am not stuck anymore in this one position for the rest of my life or thinking with this one company. I can shift I have other opportunities. I can work for different companies. I can grow. I can get more money, and I did. I totally shifted to making more money, new opportunities, new skills. And that's happened with every single one. So I think it's like, as in anything, you have to shift your mindset from the rejection, taking it as that, taking it as rejection, taking it as personal. It wasn't personal. It wasn't rejection. It was the company making their decision based on what they were doing and where they were at. And it actually cuts you loose to grow. So you got to think of it as growing. And now after working at that one company for 18 years, I think I was there too long. They were just taking me for granted. They weren't seeing me anymore. I was just a machine and a number for them. And now I know that if you're with a company for too long, start looking, start thinking about growing. You've got to experience that shift in expanding yourself.
And I think it goes both ways. So you're discussing being laid off, where you had just mentioned a moment ago, you can't take it personal. You are just a cog in the system. You are numbers for them, and it needed to be done, and it's not a personal thing. So I think even for the other side of it, where somebody's like, yeah, she was laid off, but I was fired. Still a learning experience, right?
Yes, very much so. Anything, we've all had these things in our life, and you can look at all of them as places to grow from. If you were fired, you did something that they fired you. If you broke a rule or something like that, don't beat yourself up. Learn from it. That's what all these things we have in our life, we all screw up. We're not perfect. We're not in a perfect world. We have influences, and you got to learn from it and grow and correct yourself. And it's like, okay, if I had, when I worked before one company, it's when the salesman did get fired because he lost his temper on a customer, and so, okay, maybe you got to start learning to control your temper. Maybe you got to do some personal growth on your anger issues. Or if that was just a once in a lifetime thing, dive deep into what spiked that anger with that customer. So just use it as a growing experience in changing whatever it was, and use it for an experience to, like I said, even to work for something. Maybe this arena that you find yourself in isn't your passion, isn't where you want to be. And you just use it to, okay, that was a kick in the pants that you needed to get out of that industry because it just kicked your ass too much and you couldn't get out of it. You hated it, and you're subliminally maybe just sabotaging yourself because it was a job that just was not for you.
You know, it's interesting how our body and our soul will sometimes not always be in unison with the mind.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing what's back in there. Yes.
It really is. Now, I'd love to go to your website, denisewester.com, and you have a very generous offer on your website. Would you mind telling us a little bit about what we'll find on the website? And while you're talking, I will take us through the website so everybody can see it who's connected and viewing.
Yeah, well, on my website, I have links to my book on Amazon. Plus, I have my email address, pr@denisewester.com, where you can email me, and I will send you a free just one sheet on how to bust through procrastination. I know I looked up procrastination, and it is one of the one things that came up with people that they have a hard time with. Is procrastinating to find their power, to find what they want to do. They're just procrastinating. And I get it. There's a lot of interruptions in our lives. And my one sheet free PDF that I'll send to you helps you break it down to procrastinate. Even if you don't even know what you want with your life, which is like, 75% of us didn't know what we wanted in life, and so, so don't feel alone. And don't think you're odd because you don't have this divine inspiration of what do you want to do. I help you with that on my Busting Through Procrastination. So just email me at pr@denisewester.com. And also, my other thing that I offer on my website, you'll see, and in my book, if you buy my book, you just send me a picture with you and your book, or you can just message me through social media and send me a picture, and I will send you a link to join a free closed down private Facebook group that's just for the readers only, and I continue to support you. I am your personal life coach for free, pretty much. I keep with the journaling prompts, I keep with the inspirations, and I wanted to have a supportive, like-minded, collaborative group there to celebrate wins, to be able to reach out to somebody maybe you could connect with and that you wanted to, do a sidebar chat with. But I just wanted to not just write a book and drop you. I wanted to continue to support my readers. And that's super important to me. And so I offer that connection and that email address also where you can send me that so I can put you in my Facebook group.
And the email address, again, is pr@denisewester.com. Now, when you say a one sheet to break that cycle of procrastination, to put you in the right direction of dealing with what you need to deal with to get to what you want to deal with, how long did it take you to condense it down to a one sheet?
Oh my God, that was hard because, I had this old, but it's like, okay, I want to make this simple, to some basic steps and just to get you started, so that was hard. That was really hard. Thank you. Everything is, hard. But I put a lot of thought into it. I put thought into every single word and every single sentence in my book. And I just hope it resonates with you and my readers.
Absolutely. Well, I'm definitely going to email you. I really would love to take a look at it. I can remember a long time ago, I was in corporate and I realized I'm young and unfocused, not knowing what I want in life. And here I am in this office with a great job. And I would always, write down my to-do list. But I did notice that the things I had to get done, I was pushing to the end of the list. Until I can't even remember, maybe it was Deepak Chopra. I can't remember exactly who it was I was reading at the time. And they had a few powerful things to say to break that cycle. So I'd love to see what your one sheet says, because in having just a few tools, oh my gosh, it changes your productivity and just shoots your potential through the roof to be able to break that cycle.
Exactly.
Ken Dodge, he's watching. He has it's a funny comment. He says, "My life coach has no idea she's my life coach." So he has enjoyed our conversation as well as many others. And I want to thank you so much for your time. Definitely everybody go check out denisewester.com. And I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. It's morning there. So I hope the sun is shining bright and enjoy your day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. All right, we'll see you soon. And you're a friend of the show. So anytime that you have a new book or you have some speaking engagements, anything at all that you would like to promote, please send it our way. I'd love to have you on the show again soon, or just promote you on social media if we can.
Great. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I'll see you soon. Oh my goodness, everybody. That was so fun. I love talking about ways that we can, just put more tools into our toolbox so that life as we age, there are things as we age that become a little bit more challenging. But what we have mentally combined with our spirit, it doesn't have to be. Some of the stuff we still carry around at 50 years old that happened when we were 5, we just don't need to carry that around anymore. So everybody, as always, I want to say we are blessed. You are blessed. And I love you. Stay tuned. Up next is the band Shade out of Manchester.